Getting you ready for game time. Join me, Sal from Behind the Arc Basketball, as I announce play-by-play. Make sure to smash the like and subscribe, because now we're about to go live. Entering the pregame, we now present Sal from Behind the Arc Basketball. And what's good, everybody? Glad to have you guys in the stream once again today. We got some Big 12 basketball action, a ranked top 10 matchup going down, tipping off in about 5 minutes from now. Number 3 Kansas on the road to take on number 9 ranked Texas in this matchup. Kansas already wrapping up the number 1 seed going into the Big 12 tournament. Texas right behind at number 2 in the conference currently, and looking to see if they can secure the number 2 seed. 11-6 in the Big 12 for Texas. They're 22-8 overall. Kansas record at 25-5, 15 quad 1 victories, most wins out of any team by far this season in all of college basketball. 13-4 in the toughest conference in the nation, the Big 12. If you guys are new in the stream, make sure to hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe, and we'll be starting off very shortly here. Connor, Chris, welcome in. Yeah, rough game today for Providence. The fans are on spring break for the college students, so it's more like an adult audience today, and yikes. Going into a neutral court, Big Ten or Big East type of environment for the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden. It's not looking so hot. They haven't played that well on the road this year, struggled on neutral floor, and yeah, they're in some big trouble. Looking like they're going to be the 8 or the 9 seed coming into March Madness, and that's just brutal. 8 versus 9, that's one of those matchups that's like, it's going to be a brutal physical battle. Both of those teams, once the 8 or the 9 gets to play the 1 seed in the second round, those two, whoever comes out of that 8-9 game, just super exhausted. And yeah, not looking so hot right now for Providence. Got crushed today against Seton Hall. A lot of upsets once again, just another typical Saturday of college hoops. West Virginia, they're on a run. Watch out for them for the bracket, leading Kansas State 84-74 down to 2 minutes remaining. We're just getting to the conclusion of this Auburn-Tennessee game. Auburn up 72-65, 40 seconds left to go against Tennessee. Kentucky looking good, leading Arkansas 60-51. Arkansas in trouble right now for them as well. Yeah, just terrible loss, man. It's going to be tough. Going to be tough for Providence to, like, first of all, win the first round game. Second of all, taking on a 1 seed or a 2 seed probably, because either right now they're an 8, 9, or 10. No way they're a 7. 8, 9, or 10 for Providence come tournament, depending what happens on the Big East tournament. They'd have to win Big East tournament to get up to a 7, I feel like, once again. Yeah, they're going in the wrong direction. Just terrible loss today. Games that's gone final. So I'm going to go through here. We're going to tip off in a couple minutes from now with Kansas, Texas. Texas A&M keep on running upwards right now into the top 25. Number 24, big win hosting Alabama for Texas A&M 67-61. That's a tough, gritty team. Caused a lot of havoc. Forced turnovers. Iowa State, here's a shock. Iowa State had their number 3 scorer, Caleb Grill, dismissed from the team earlier this week. They go on the road at Waco, and they win at Baylor today, 73-58. I got Kansas tonight in this matchup. Wouldn't shock me if they do drop it, though, because they've already secured a number 1 seed. That's the thing. But Texas, as of late, Texas has been really struggling for them. They're trying to find themselves for Texas. Last week against Baylor, they were like a no-show in that game when I covered them. Virginia winning against Louisville. That game just went final 75-60. Michigan State winning over Ohio State 84-78. A lot of the conference tournaments already have begun for the mid-majors. Southern Miss, the top seed in the Sun Belt, losing against South Alabama 78-61. So there's going to be no March Madness for Southern Miss. That team won a bunch of games by close margins for Southern Miss. There were teams behind them in the conference that could take a look at for like potential upset picks in the tournament if they come out of that conference. Marshall is one of them. Marshall was 1 game behind Southern Miss. They take on Texas State later today. Just wrapping up this Auburn-Tennessee matchup, 74-66 as Auburn just scored with 34 seconds left to play. Yeah, Xavier looks dangerous. Number 1 team this season in assists per game. And that's what the tournament's about. It's about backcourts. And Sully Boom just going off. Best transfer pickup in all college hoops this year. Zach Fremantle's back for your Musketeers there. So I believe they're fully healthy from what I heard today. Kai Tandy's going to play today too from what I heard. And Fremantle is available. Robin, welcome back in. Also, we put out the Behind Your Basketball Bracket Challenge group. Feel free to join in if you like, as that link is posted into the chat there. For the Bracket Challenge group, all are welcome to join. Totally free to join. And we got over 15 plus entries right now. Last year we had above 60. Texas, a 3.5 point favorite tonight on their home floor. They're struggling lately. They've lost the last 3 of 5 for Texas. Also, TCU having some trouble today. TCU losing their matchup. Wow. Were they a no-show or what? 40-25 against Oklahoma. Start of the second half. Oklahoma leading by 15 right now against TCU. Marquette taking care of business against St. John's. 86-81 though. St. John's just made it 3 as I spoke. So it went from 86-78 to 86-81. So making things interesting. Final minute and a half. But Marquette's controlled that game. They've been on top right from the starts. Marquette's offense is an absolute machine this year. The teams for the Big East, a lot of them are like high-flying scoring teams. Xavier is one of the top teams in the nation in scoring. Marquette leads the nation in scoring efficiency. And they're also top 10 in assists per game with Tyler Kolek, top 5 in the nation in assists this year. But Xavier is number 1 in assists per game this season. So a lot of the Big East teams are like high numbers for offense this season. I feel like the ACC as well. It's got like a lot of like more of like the offensive type of teams here. Big 12's got a bunch of like defensive squads on in the conference, and man, what a year it's been for the Big 12. Just teams beating and banging upon each other, and multiple teams going to go to the bracket. West Virginia basically securing themselves today with a win. Looks like this Auburn-Tennessee game is actually overlapping Kansas-Texas, so we have tipped off in the Kansas-Texas match. So I'll get to the play-by-play when we can. This happened last Saturday with Iowa-Michigan State overlapping Texas-Baylor. So Kansas just scored. Yeah, I watched a little of the game. Ed Croswell doing really well today. Just didn't seem like they were ready for that matchup. That's too bad. Seton Hall's a tough and physical team. They could potentially make a run in the Big East tournament. Starters tonight in this matchup, KJ Adams, Jalen Wilson, DeJuan Harris, Grady Dick, Kevin McCullough for Kansas. Texas starters: Tyrese Hunter, Marcus Carr, Dylan Mitchell, Dylan Dessou, Timmy Allen for the Longhorns. If you're new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. March Madness just right around the corner, coming up very soon. Already some of the top teams in their conference tournaments have already fallen. Southern Miss lost today in their conference tournament to a number 8 seed. I heard that from, I believe it was John Rothstein from CBS Sports. He tweeted this morning, and he said that Fremantle and Tandy were available today for the game. That's a good game for Kentucky against Arkansas today because Cason Wallace was rolled out for Kentucky. Kentucky up trying to close out Arkansas 63-57. Also got an update here that Xavier Johnson for Indiana will not return this season. So point guard for Indiana not returning this season due to a foot injury. That's a major loss. Back-to-back baskets by Texas. Dylan Mitchell, Timmy Allen, and now Tyrese Hunter gets another bucket at 6-2. About 16:15 left to go in the first. We're just awaiting for Auburn against Tennessee to wrap up. This has been the longest final minute of a game. Auburn leading 76-70. 23 seconds left to play. So we got 6-2 currently the score. Thanks so much all for waiting. Just waiting on Kansas, Texas to start as Tennessee, Auburn keeps on overlapping the game. Just a typical game in the SEC where you have so many fouls. Teams playing like, instead of like a typical 2-hour game, they're playing like a 2.5-hour game for these SEC teams. And this final minute's gone by just so slow. Auburn at the line, they make one of two. They're up by 7 with 20 seconds left. And Tennessee couldn't make a 3. They tip it out. Too much time. 8 seconds. Auburn collects the rebound. The time keeps on going off the clock. And Auburn's just going to dunk it with 5.4. Tennessee did commit the foul, though, before the dunk. So Auburn back to the free throw line for the double bonus. The dunk will not count. 5.4 seconds remaining and just makes more of a delay to get into the Kansas-Texas game because of this. It was expected, though. Auburn defends home court. Such a strong team this season when it comes to their home floor. It's been different on the road. They've struggled on the road, but Auburn, big win for them to keep them in the bracket. They have been falling out lately for Auburn, dropping a bunch of games. This one keeps them in solid place in the bracket. Tennessee ranked 12th in the nation. Major loss with Zakai Ziegler earlier this week. Done for the season due to injury. That's a tough one for Tennessee. And Tennessee has been dropping games too. What's good, Ryan? Welcome back in, man. Just waiting for Auburn, Tennessee to wrap up. 5 seconds left to go in that game. We got under 16 minutes left to play. Texas, Kansas tipped off a couple minutes ago. Kansas struggling from the floor. They had a rough game of shooting in their last matchup too, but able to come out with a win. Just 1 for 5 starting. KJ Adams, lone bucket so far. Jalen Wilson yet to get on the board. 0 for 2 shooting by Wilson. Kansas wrapped up the number 1 seed in the Big 12 tournament. I think right now, Kansas, for them, it's not that they just wrapped up the number 1 seed. This game means a whole lot more. Both of these teams in this matchup, but for Kansas too, it means that they, in my opinion, they should be the overall number 1 seed. Like, I don't know how they're not the overall number 1 seed right now. I know Houston has got an incredible record this season. The metrics are amazing with Houston, but 15 quad 1 victories, most by far in college basketball for Kansas in the toughest conference, 13-4, 25-5 overall. I just don't know how they're not the overall 1 seed. And at least they're going to jump over Alabama. Alabama losing today on the road against Texas A&M. If Kansas takes control, wins this game on the road at Texas, Kansas at least will be up to the 2nd overall seed, but they should be the top seed entering the bracket, especially if they win the Big 12 tournaments. There's no question about it. Toughest conference in all college hoops. Here we go, starting off Kansas, Texas, as Auburn is just wrapped up against Tennessee. Auburn pulls out the victory at home. Jumper to baseline. Tough shot falling away. It is good for the Longhorns. Count it in the foul. Marcus Carr at the baseline. Drills it for 2 in the foul. Thanks all for joining in. 15 plus in the chat. If you guys are new, make sure to hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. As we're just getting started. 15:26 left to go in the first, and a great start for the Longhorns. One of the big keys this season for Texas has been their depth. They got out to a great start against Baylor, up by 14 in the first half 1 week ago, and then they blew it wide open. Free throw down the middle, good by Carr. Marcus Carr with 3 points, 2 each by Tyrese Hunter, Timmy Allen, Dylan Mitchell. Kansas with a possession. Harris has it at the edge of the midcourt logo. Dribbles up to the left wing, now towards his right. Harris turns the corner, floats it out to the left corner, into the hands to McCullough. McCullough drives baseline, floats up the shot, around the rim, no good, tipped off the glass. Texas tips it for the defensive rebound. West Virginia has just won over Kansas State. Final score 89-81. If there's a team that can make a run in the bracket, watch out for Bob Huggins' squad. Terrible record, but don't count them out because it all resets during bracket time, and they should be there with so many quality victories lately for West Virginia. Harris, fast break, scores the layup. It's 9-4. Texas with a possession, lob down to the right baseline. Christian Bishop moves it out to the elbow. Timmy Allen takes the jumper, missed off the rim. Jalen Wilson secures the defensive rebound. 14.5 left to go. Wilson passes out to the corner to Harris. Lob down low. Adams, pivot move, puts it up inside the key. He gets blocked, and it goes back to Texas. Timmy Allen, great defense, coming up with a block, and KJ Adams. Out to the wing, 3 in transition, missed by Texas, skipped around the rim and out by Marcus Carr, and gets tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Bishop of Texas. Yeah, honestly, anything could happen there, man. Maine playing against UMass Lowell right now. Yeah, Maine's been better than what they've been in the past. I have to check the score about New Hampshire against Bryan. I saw New Hampshire was winning that game early on because New Hampshire's right there with Maine. Like, usually bottom of the conference teams, 2 teams that I believe both of the teams really good at hockey, for college hockey. I don't follow that much, but I believe the highest paid position in the state of New Hampshire is the men's hockey coach for UNH. What's good, Warren? Welcome back in, bud. 13:45 left to go. Missed shot at the corner by Kansas. Texas has it top of the key. They'll step into a 3. Carr, high arcing, missed off the mark, tipped up. Nice save by Jalen Wilson as he secures the defensive rebound. Harris has it at the right wing. Open as he launches the 3. Harris lets it rain. That's good. Juwan Harris, smart with his shot selection. He's been low-key efficient this season. He knows when to pull the trigger and when to knock down shots. And when left in the open like that, given space, it's like target range for him making those shots. Texas will take a 3. Skipped around the rim and out. Missed by Sir Jabari Rice. Back it goes to Kansas. Kansas with a chance to tie up with a 2. Chance to take the lead with a 3. Corner 3 on its way. And that gets blocked by Texas. Kansas comes out with a steal down the near side with a Wilson, and they have it with under 13 left to go in the first. Harris will slow down the possession. Harris at the top of the key. Makes the pass out to Adams. Swings it out to the corner. McCullough with a three. McCullough missed off the rim. He had a look, just couldn't send it down. Texas out. Up the floor. Brock Cunningham. Handoff Serge Jabari Rice. He's been clutch late in games this season. Moves it out to his left to Tyrese Hunter. Back over to Rice. Rice with a three. Rice too long. Tipped by Harris. Defensive board back to McCullough. Vaughn, welcome back in. Oh, wow. So UNH won today against Bryant. Wow. That's a shocker. I believe Bryant came in as the better seed in that matchup. Wow, that game's still going on. I'll get to the scoreboard once we get to the next timeout. 12:10 left to go. Jalen Wilson just 1 for 7 shooting from the floor. Kansas in this game because of their defense. Late in games, like last couple of games, Kansas has had championship-like defensive stops in those games to prevent opponents from scoring. Here's a steal, though, by Texas. Out on the break, Serge Jabari Rice throws it down behind the defense. Texas takes a 4-point lead. Under 12 minutes left to go. Jalen Wilson, slow start from the floor so far in the first half. Towards his right at the top. Wilson slides it over to Grady Dick. Dick at the top of the free throw circle. Passes off to Wilson. Wilson at the left wing. 1-on-1. Drives baseline on Bishop. Wilson inside the key. Banging bodies. And we have a shooting foul picked up on the floor by Christian Bishop. Clock will stop with 11:29. As we'll take a timeout on the floor as well for immediate timeout. Tough, physical, gritty type of defensive battle so far in this matchup. Just another game in the Big 12 with a battle between these two teams. 11-7 with 11.5 left to play. Wow, Marquette might blow it against St. John's. Holy smokes. St. John's can run right with them. St. John's is one of the top-rated offenses in the nation. Wow, 1 second left to go. I'm going to change my TV screen here. 95-94 Marquette. Antonio Reeves for Kentucky with a 35-point game career high. Looks like they got the clock under review in the Marquette-St. John's game. 9/10 of a second left to go. 95-94 Marquette. Possession arrow, Marquette. They put a second on the clock. So 1 second remaining between Marquette and St. John's. So we're on timeout currently, Texas and Kansas, with 12 minutes left to go before half. Kentucky on the road looking solid tonight, bouncing back from the loss against Vandy earlier this week. 71-61 Kentucky under 4 minutes left to play. Here's a shocker. Oklahoma leading TCU 48-30 right now. Also, Iowa State winning at Baylor today was quite the shock. Iowa State had their number 3 scorer, Caleb Grill, dismissed from the team in the middle of this week. Marquette makes the first free throw. Yep, 96-94. I have no clue there, Vaughn. It's probably tough for him to stream now because he has a full-time job. Marquette missed the second free throw. St. John's full court launch, too tall, and that game closes out. Marquette wins 96-94 over St. John's. Marquette survives a scare today. So we're just waiting to get back into this game a couple minutes from now, as we're currently in a media break at the moment. Kansas just been shut down offensively so far, just 21%, 3 of 14 shooting from the floor, and they've had games lately that they've just gone cold offensively in these games lately. What's made them come out on top has been the defense. Their defense keeping them right in the game. Defense has just really muddied up this matchup and helped them to keep them into the game right now. 2 shots at the free throw line. Jalen Wilson shooting 2. First one is good. And the thing about, if you're an opponent of Kansas, you want to be ahead at halftime. It's never good when Kansas is leading at halftime, because Bill Self, best coach hands down in all of college basketball, knows how to make the adjustments better than any head coach of the game. And this Kansas team knows when to flip the switch in the second half. We saw a couple weeks ago against Baylor, they flipped like a 20-point deficit into like a double-digit win. 11-10 left to go. At the elbow, Brock Cunningham. Bounce passes off to a cutter. Serge Jabari Rice soars up. Lays it up and in. Count it, and the foul. So Serge Jabari Rice will shoot 1 at the free throw line. They get Ernest Udeh Jr. on the blocking fall. Nice cut downhill to the rim by Serge Jabari Rice. Yeah, Southern missed the number 1 seed in their conference tournament. And I saw that they won like a bunch of games by like single digits for them. So they were able to win like all these close games for Southern Miss. I think the team to watch out for is Marshall. Marshall, especially if they get paired up against a team like Virginia, right there. I'm taking Marshall in that matchup. Marshall's got a ton of firepower. They have 2 20-point scores this season for Marshall. I believe they have top 2. Their top 2 scorers are ranked top 12 in the nation, both in scoring this season. Free throw is good by Jabari Rice. Shot taken by Kansas. Missed off the mark. We do have a whistle picked up in a foul by Texas by Dylan Dessou, as the clock will stop with 10:52. So Dylan Dessou now with 2 personal fouls. Kansas gets the inbound non-shooting foul. Kevin McCullough moves it out to the right wing. Wilson looking for something. Just 1 for 7. Make it 1 for 8. He gets rejected. Huge block by Christian Bishop. Marcus Carr at the wing, guarded by Harris. Carr passes out to his left. Rice makes the pass over to Hunter. Back outside it goes to Rice. Rice at the top of the key transfer from New Mexico State, which made it to the round of 32 last year. Out to the wing. Carr takes a 3. Off the back rim, no good. Tipped up, and a rebound by Kansas. They couldn't control it cleanly as it goes out of bounds. Wilson tried to tip it over to Ernest Udeh Jr., and it was lost out of bounds down the near side. It will stay Texas ball. Yeah, Morehead State in the Ohio Valley Conference. I saw they were like the projected runaway favorite in that conference, lost last night. So, yeah, welcome to March. Furman played a close game today against their opponent in the first half. I believe they're the top seed in the SoCon. Spin move, low block. Timmy Allen shovels it. Rejected right from behind by KJ Adams. Texas gets it back, though. Corner jumper is good by Texas. It's Arterio Morris coming off the bench, who makes the corner 3. Off the block first by Kansas, and then Morris got the bounce into his hands in the left corner, jacked up the 3, drilled it, and a timeout taken by Bill Self on the floor here for the Jayhawks. 17-9, Longhorns leading midway through the first half. What a start for Texas now. 10 minutes left to go. Still got a lot of game left to play. Man, Kansas's offense just doesn't look in sync currently. And both of these teams are still playing for something. Kansas still trying to get to the number 1 overall seed in the bracket. They already locked up the number 1 seed in the Big 12 tournament. Texas trying to see if they can get back on track. They've had some pretty bad games lately for Texas and coming out on fire in this game today. It's the big question. Can Texas sustain it? Last week they couldn't. They were up by 14 in the first half. They lost against Baylor. They couldn't sustain it. And they went super cold from the floor. Right now it's been Kansas that just cannot buy a shot. 3 of 15. The real deal. Welcome back in. Feel free to join in later today. I'll be covering Duke against UNC. That game will tip off at around 6:30 later tonight. So after this one, feel free to join in for Duke versus UNC. Major game, especially for UNC. North Carolina just outside the top 25. Entry pass. Kansas lost it. Able to scoop it up, though, around the outside. To the corner, it goes to Wilson. Jalen Wilson swings it down low. McCullough battles his way inside. And we have a foul picked up by Texas by Arterio Morris. Wow, thanks so much for the update there, Metronome. Yeah, I turned on the TV a couple minutes ago, changed the channel, and I saw during the commercial break that Reeves had scored a career-high 35, now up to 37. Thanks so much for the update there. Wow. That's a really good win for Kentucky if they're able to. Yeah, they should be able to pull that off. 79-67 Kentucky, under 2 minutes left to play. Road game at Arkansas, bouncing back after the loss against Vanderbilt, and without Case and Wallace today. That's really good win for Kentucky, putting up 79 plus against Arkansas's defense. 1 for 2 at the charity stripe for Kansas. 17-10, 9.5 left to go in the first. Loose ball turnover by Tyrese Hunter of Texas. Kansas has it back. DeJuan Harris will slow it down. Harris puts it to the top to Adams. Hands it off. They move it back outside to Harris. Number 11, MJ Rice on the floor. Harris drives baseline. Oh, nice pass down low. Finds McCullough. Tiptoes the baseline. Stays in bounds. And McCullough scores up and in off the glass. DeJuan Harris been a big key so far. They go as far as he goes. 9.3 assist to turnover ratio in the last 5 games. That is astronomical by DeJuan Harris Jr. Just such a smart player. One of the top defenders in all college hoops. And low-key, he's efficient for DeJuan Harris. Yeah, that would be sad. Major game tonight for UNC. Like, if they don't come out on top tonight, it's over. It's over for UNC. They'll have to go out and win the ACC tournament. Texas at the free throw line shooting 2. First one missed off the mark. Second free throw by Timmy Allen, and that one rattles in. .840 left to play in the first. Kansas takes it past midcourt with McCullough. McCullough finds DeJuan Harris. Harris at the edge of the midcourt logo. 8.5 left to go in the first. Harris slides it over to Dick. Dick lobs it over to Adams. Adams at the elbow. Adams passes out right corner DeJuan Harris. Harris takes the 3. Off the rim, no good, and a defensive board pulled down by Rice. 8:15 left to go in the first. 6-point game. Attacking downhill to the rim. Texas floated it up and missed by Timmy Allen. And we get a whistle here on the floor. It's going to be charged to Texas on a turnover. And we'll go back to Kansas. Yeah, that's been the pain for, like, streaming college basketball games this year. Has been, like, people illegally streaming games. That's probably where they went. So many people probably, like, showing this game with the actual screen, which is just unfortunate, because I put in a bunch of work to be able to make these streams possible. It doesn't happen for the NBA streams, because the NBA takes off those copyright violations, as that's a turnover driving downhill to the rim. as Jalen Wilson gets stripped, lost the basketball in through traffic. Texas scores, count it in the foul. Timmy Allen shooting one, coming up at the free throw line, as that's a strong bucket on the fast break, scoring for two at the rim. If you guys are new in the stream, make sure to hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell as well if you guys would like to join in for March Madness streams coming up for the tournament. Feel free to join in on the Bracket Challenge group as well. That is posted to the chat. If you guys are interested for the March Madness Bracket Challenge group, all are welcome to join. One entry per person, and the brackets will be released right after Selection Sunday, next Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Brackets lock on Thursday, March 16th, right before the first round games start around noontime. One free throw coming up, back from the timeout. Timmy Allen scored on the bucket. What a strong start for Texas. This is a deep team for Texas this season. 5 points by Timmy Allen, 5 by Serge-Jabari Rice off the bench, 3 each by Carr and Arterio Morris, who's made an impact so far, making a 3. 2 points by Dylan Mitchell and Tyrese Hunter. And Kansas just hasn't found their groove with their offense tonight. It's just not there. 4 for 17 shooting, 1 for 6 from 3, 24% from the floor. What's good? They call me Ja. Welcome in. Quick update on other scores throughout college hoops currently. Oklahoma leading TCU. TCU was down by 20, though. TCU's gone on a 9-1 run, so it's 51-39 with under 9 minutes left to play. Kentucky, final minute. Great victory today for Big Blue on the road at Arkansas, 83-72, down to the final minute. Missouri Valley Conference semifinal matchup. Bradley leading by 1 over Indiana State, 35-34. Games that's gone final from earlier today. Texas A&M winning against Alabama 67-61. Marquette holding on, winning St. John's 96-94. West Virginia with a big win, hosting K-State today 89-81. West Virginia works their way into the bracket pretty much as a lock for them, as they've been able to go from the last 4 out grouping all the way up to like the play-in game, and they should be pretty good right now for West Virginia. They should have got themselves a lock in the bracket with that win today against Kansas State. Iowa State have been dropping a bunch of games and a massive losing drought for them, but huge win. Came on the road at Waco versus Baylor today, 73-58. Iowa State, which nobody, me myself included, would not have guessed Iowa State would have won that game. Won by 15 convincingly. Virginia winning over Louisville today, 75-60. Auburn won at home against Tennessee, 79-70. Worst L of the day goes to Providence, 82-58. Providence suffers a bad L, almost as bad as the Boston Celtics from last night. That was the Fuka Choka of the group there for those two this weekend. Woof. Nah, not so good on my teams in general this weekend. Boston looking to bounce back tomorrow night. Michigan State winning over Ohio State 84-78. Southern Miss, the number 1 seed in the Sun Belt, lost today in the quarterfinals against South Alabama. Convincing win there for South Alabama, 78-61. That's just unfortunate. If you're like, there's so much pressure if you're a number 1 seed and just fail to meet the criteria. They'll be in the NIT, though, because the regular season champ gets to be put in the NIT. So they'll play in the NIT for Southern Miss. Back to action. DeJuan Harris at the wing. Texas made the free throw right before. Shot missed, no good. Inside by Harris. Goes right back to Texas. 7:15 left to go. Longhorns up by 9. Looking to see if they can put it in double digits. Marcus Carr, up fake, defended by Dick. Step back jumper, deep two. Carr, high arcing, missed it off the mark, and the rebound controlled by Kansas. 7 minutes left to go before halftime. Jayhawks just looking for something. Harris at the wing decided not to be aggressive and take the three. He was left out in the open, instead made the pass to McCullough. Adams, hand off Wilson. A Wilson jumper straight away. 18-footer, zips it through, and we'll see if this can spark a comeback here for Kansas. So finally, Jalen Wilson hits something. Just 4 points so far today for Wilson. Wilson been limited on the floor so far in this matchup as well. Down low and drawing the blocking foul, it will send Tyrese Hunter to the free throw line shooting 2. Yeah, last week, Miami blew a big one last week. So I remember I signed off the stream. Miami was up big and just disappeared. What's good, Jackson? Welcome to the stream, man. Hope all is going well there. Glad to have you back in. 6:27 left to go. Free throws coming up for Texas with Tyrese Hunter. And the first one, he missed off the mark. Second free throw is good by Hunter, 8-point lead. McCullough in the backcourt. Lob over the top. They missed the lob for the alley-oop try, and it goes out of bounds. Turnover. 6:19 left to go, and Kansas just out of sync offensively. If there's one thing that's going to prevent this team from going back-to-back this year for Kansas, it's the turnovers. They're kind of like mid-pack in the nation in turnovers per game this season for them. And that's what the struggle has been in their losses, has been the turnovers. At the free throw circle with Timmy Allen. Allen, guarded by KJ Adams, puts up the turnaround, missed off the mark, and the rebound collected by Jalen Wilson. Mario, welcome back to the stream, man. Glad to have you back in. Under 6 minutes left to go. Feel free to join in for UNC versus Duke later tonight around 6:30 p.m. Bounce pass off the roll down. Stripped out of bounds. Lost it. It's going to be last touch by Texas, though. So lucky that KJ Adams will get it back. Hey, there we go. Hopefully Miami's able to make a deep run for you there, Robin. I think for Miami, they're probably going to be like a 5 or a 4 seed. What you're praying for, praying to not get Oral Roberts in the bracket. I just see a lethal team in Oral Roberts. That's if they even win their conference tournament. You could have a team post 30 wins like Charleston. Oral Roberts could be another one and still not make the tournament. That's how much pressure there happens to be for all these one-seed mid-major teams. Florida Atlantic, that's another one too. That's a big question mark because if there's like other bid stealers from like major conference teams, will they have enough to get in for Florida Atlantic? That's another question mark that all you have to do just win the conference tournament. But if you're a 1 seed out there, a mid-major that's like by far the best team in your conference, Oral Roberts. There's a couple of good teams in the MAC. So there are a couple of good teams in the MAC. Toledo, Kent State. Something's going to have to give there. But Oral Roberts is the one that's clearly a runaway in their conference. Everybody should, whoever gets them should be on alert. That might be a team, I don't know. All depends on the matchup. All depends if that team can defend the perimeter. They might be a team to fade. Like, nobody believed in Providence last year, and they shut down South Dakota State. Because Oral Roberts is all about the 3-ball, whether they can hit it, whether they can hit their threes. Missed around the rim and out by Texas on the jumper off the turnaround. Just 14 points by Kansas with under 5 minutes left to go before halftime. Harris at the corner for the Jayhawks. Looking for something. Their offense has been an absolute grind. Skip pass left corner. Grady Dick launches a 3 at a great look. Couldn't send it down. Missed off the back rim. Texas with a defensive rebound. Out to the left wing. 3 on its way. Zips it through. It's good by Tyrese Hunter. First double-digit lead in the night for the Longhorns. 25-14 with under 4.5 left to go before half. King Markey, welcome back in. Down low with Ernest Uday Jr. Moves on top. McCullough wide open. Couldn't connect. Skipped around. Harris put back. No good. Missed off the glass. Offensive rebound. Wilson. Another chance. Finally, he scores. Yeah, Virginia's been streaky in the tournaments. National champion 2019. Lost to UMBC the year before. Redemption year, winning the chip the following year. Last tournament they've been in, they lost against Ohio. Jason Preston in the first round as Tyrese Hunter is getting hot from 3. Takes another one, drills it, and it's a 12-point lead for Texas. Timeout taken on the floor by Bill Self with 3:38 left to play in the first. Wow. This Longhorns team, they are deep. They got a lot of weapons. Their shots haven't dropped that much in the last couple of games, but today starting to catch a rhythm with their offense. Last couple possessions, able to take advantage. 12-point lead for Texas. Man, this tournament's going to be wild. Like, there's no clear-cut favorite, honestly. Let's go to the scoreboard right now. TCU losing against Oklahoma 59-44 with 6 minutes left to go. Oh, man. Is Missouri going to do it again? This is just not sustainable. I just don't think... I was looking at this today. I think the best matchup, honestly, for Providence would be to get Mizzou in the first round. Missouri's got a defense ranked in the 330s this season. Like, there's no way this is sustainable. Missouri was trailing last couple of games against Georgia. Trailing right now against Ole Miss, 48-45. Like, last few games, Missouri was trailing big time. They came back and won. Like, you can't expect that to happen in the tournament. Like, Missouri can score, but if their shots aren't dropping, you can't expect that. Ole Miss leading Missouri 48-45 with around 15.5 minutes left to play in the second half. Yeah. Yeah, there's no clear-cut favorite. Like, I've had Kansas for a long, long time. I really like Houston this season, too. I have to see where the whole American Conference tournament goes. Also, tomorrow, Houston takes on Memphis, too. That's a massive game. More so for Memphis, because if Memphis wins, they're a lock in the bracket. Houston has already got the 1 seed wrapped up. A long time ago, they wrapped up the 1 seed in the conference tournament. We'll see what happens in the second half here, because Kansas just don't show up for the first half. I remember that game on the day after New Year's against Oklahoma State. They were down by 15 at halftime. They came back and they won. There was a game a couple of weeks ago against Baylor. I think they trailed by 20. They flipped the switch. They won by double digits against them. So they just wait till the second half to start to get their buckets. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, like, who comes out and gets to the Final Four, who can win the championship this year. I feel like there's going to be so many upsets this season. There'll probably be like a mid-major that like nobody thinks that can wins in the first round. 3:30 left to go. 11-4 run by Texas in the last 5.5 minutes. McCullough off to Harris. Harris dribbles up to the elbow, flings it out left corner into the hands to Wilson. Dribbles baseline to Wilson. Low block, floats up a shot. He scores up and through off the glass. Wow, it was off balance. But Jalen Wilson able to get his way there. Off the glass, 8 points now, 7 boards. 3 minutes left to go. Bounce pass over to Timmy Allen. Allen dribbles up inside the key. Allen working on KJ Adams. Passes out left corner over to Hunter. Hunter bounce pass into the hands to Allen. Allen pro hop into the key. Tough shot off the glass, missed, and the rebound controlled by Kansas by Wilson. We'll see if this changes something before halftime. Kansas down by 10, looking to cut it to single digits. Adams, hand off Harris. Harris at the free throw circle, turns the corner, drives down the lane, missed the layup, knocked down and fouled. Hard contact, though, as DeJuan Harris will shoot 2 at the free throw line with 2:37 left to go before half. Oklahoma destroying TCU right now, 64-47. Big boys of TCU just did not come to play. That's an Oklahoma team that wrecked Alabama. First free throw. And no good. Around and out. Stood still at the front rim and dropped out. Missed by Harris. Second free throw. Rolled around the rim and missed as well. Texas with a possession as Kansas went 0 for 2 at the free throw line. Just 28% shooting in this first half for the Jayhawks. Rice thought about a 3 at the right wing. Rice lobs it over to Brock Cunningham. Brock Cunningham backs his way inside the paint. Cunningham powers his way, floats it up, hit the bottom right part of the glass. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Rice of Texas. So this will be Kansas basketball. 2:09 left to go before half. Kansas is looking for something here before halftime. They do their work in the second half. Hand off over to Harris. Harris dribbles up to the right wing. Passes on top over to Adams. Adams fires in a fastball over to Harris. Missed the layup again. Tip to the corner. Texas comes up with a defensive rebound. 2 opportunities. Couldn't finish at the rim by DeJuan Harris. Right downhill. Missed the layup too by Sir'Jabari Rice. Here goes Kansas with a basketball. Robin with a dono. Let's get that dono hype on the stream for Robin. Really appreciate it. Wow, Kansas able to stay in bound, tiptoeing the baseline. 3 at the wing. Jalen Wilson, bang, bang. He drips it through for the triple. Wow, incredible athleticism right there to hang on at the baseline by Kansas. 2 of their players tiptoed and saved the basketball underneath the hoop. They swung it out to Jalen Wilson at the wing, who catch and fire made a 3. He's up to 11. Over half of the points through Jalen Wilson so far, and he struggled with efficiency. Bounce pass out to the corner to Texas. They pass it down low, and we have a shooting foul picked up. Bobby Pettiford blocking foul. 2 free throws coming up for the Longhorns. And we have 1 minute left to play before half. Daniel, welcome on the stream once again, man. Feel free to join in for Duke versus UNC later tonight. Massive game for North Carolina as they are right outside the bracket. I believe Joe Lunardi has North Carolina in his first 4 out grouping for them. They only have 1 quad 1 victory. Came against Virginia last week. First free throw is good for Texas by Sir'Jabari Rice. That's Kansas' 7th personal foul too, so Texas in the bonus. 9 points by Tyrese Hunter. 6 by Timmy Allen. 5 off the bench by Sir'Jabari Rice. Jalen Wilson leading all scorers with 11 of the 21 for Kansas. Second free throw good by Rice. Final minute left to go before half. We all know how Kansas loves to make the game interesting in the second half and seize control. Slow starts are nothing new this season for the number 3 ranked team in the nation. Kansas with the ball. Harris at the top of the key. Makes the pass out to the right wing. Wilson shoots a deep range three, missed off the front rim, and the rebound controlled by Marcus Carr. Rice drives, scores in the layup with the right hand, up and in off the glass. It's back to 11 for the lead for Texas. 25 seconds left to go. Bad closeout there to the basketball by Joseph Yesufu, who should have fought harder for the offensive rebound. He had an angle at it and stopped. Rushing with the offensive rebound, Harris knocked down near side, lost the ball, almost got tripped up, able to stay alive with it. 9 seconds left to go. Out to the corner, 3 on his way. Yesufu puts it through. It's good. Big time 3 right there for Kansas with 1 second left to go. Texas, full court shot, missed off the top of the glass, and we head into halftime, and it's Texas 32, Kansas 24. Big time shot, Yesufu puts the Jayhawks winning 8. Getting some momentum back entering half. Wow. Offense hasn't been quite there in the first half for Kansas. Able to hold on like that, though. Playing some elite defense to keep them into the game in the first half. Jalen Wilson with 11. He's got 9 rebounds. After that, DeJuan Harris has 5 points. Just 2 for 8 shooting tonight for Harris, though. Texas top scorers, 9 points each by Tyrese Hunter. Jabari Rice off the bench is 9. This is a deep Texas team. They start 2 guards. They go 3 front court players. Jabari Rice comes off the bench. Really deep team. He's the top rebounder, too, with 5 boards for Jabari Rice. What's good, Tristan? Welcome back in the stream. Oh, wow. Campbell. So the Campbell Camels winning at the buzzer. Going to play UNC Asheville in the Big South Tournament Final tomorrow. Could potentially have a bid thief there. UNC Asheville, I believe, was 16-2 in the conference, but somebody had said Campbell Campbell there for the tournament for like a bid stealer in a conference tournament. Feel free to join in the Behind the Arc Basketball Bracket Challenge group. That link is pinned in the chat right now. All are welcome to join in. We'll be using the ESPN Tournament Challenge once again. All you have to do is create an ESPN.com account if you haven't already done so, and then click the link, and then press Join Group in blue for the Behind the Arc Basketball Bracket Challenge. As we have above 15-plus entries, I believe, right now. We'll see if we can keep it growing. We had over 60-plus entries last year. Yeah, should be amazing this year. Tournament is going to be incredible. So many upsets. So many upsets this season. We'll have a bunch more in the bracket. Let's get to the scoreboard right now. Oklahoma leading TCU 69-48 with a final 2.5 minutes left to go. Mizzou leading Ole Miss in a close game. That's a home game for Missouri. 55-53. Under 12 minutes left to play in that game. Not much going on for college hoops right now. A lot of other games going on. A couple conference tournament games that we got going on here. Bradley leading Indiana State 51-44. Missouri Valley Conference semis. That's the only, I believe that's the only conference tournament game going on besides James Madison playing Troy in a conference tournament game. Same as UMass Lowell leading Maine 44-26 for UMass Lowell right now. VCU only up by 3 on the road at George Washington 20-17. But every single time that I've looked at the bracketology, it's been VCU by far out of the A10. The A10 is only going to be a one-bid conference this year. Wow, you're going for Chattanooga to make some noise in the bracket there for Tristan. Yeah, I like Oral Roberts. I'm gonna see here. Joe Lunardi posting his bracket, latest bracketology he's got from, Oh, he updated for today, so let me take a look at this. Yeah, I think he's updating daily now since we've got into March for Joe Lunardi for ESPN. So let's see. I'm curious to see where Oral Roberts stands in this bracket. Oh man, not a good sign for Robin here. Oral Roberts against Miami in the first round, but we'll see who they face on Selection Sunday. This is what we probably do know. Number one is Oral Roberts has to win their conference tournament, so they might not even get there, which is the unfortunate part. That's the part that's terrible, is that you have a team that posts 30 victories, and then they lose by one in the conference tournament. If they lose by one at the buzzer in the conference tournament championship, the poor team ends up playing in the NIT because they have the 300 and something strength of schedule in the nation and can't make it. It's too bad. But here's the options here for 5 seeds. Oral Roberts looking like they're, if they, barring any loss that they suffer, they should be in the tournament for Oral Roberts. But Miami's a 5 right now. Creighton's a 5. Obviously, this will all change because of conference tournaments. If these teams move up on seed lines. TCU's a 5. St. Mary's is a 5. I see a lot of VCU versus St. Mary's for that matchup. I'd watch out in that game. St. Mary's. First of all, I'm going to see if Oral Roberts had played St. Mary's this season. Maybe that's why they can't schedule, because they try to avoid. What the committee tries to do is they'll avoid matchups that already had taken place during the regular season. So that's why we probably won't see Auburn versus Northwestern in the first round, which, number one, nobody would want to see that. That would be a gross matchup. Auburn won 43-42 against Northwestern back in November. But I think it was Jerry Palm's bracket who had put Auburn versus Northwestern. Okay, so that's why St. Mary's won't play Oral Roberts. That's why they're probably not going to face up against each other in the first round. Oral Roberts lost their season opener at St. Mary's 78-70. But if for some reason Oral Roberts and St. Mary's face up in the opening round of the bracket, I'm going all Oral Roberts right there. An 8-point loss on the road at St. Mary's in the season opener for Oral Roberts. All the games that they played have been close besides the game at Houston, which Houston destroyed Oral Roberts 83-45. The thing about these 5 seeds are that these 5 seeds are up-and-coming 5 seeds. The seeds where I see that's vulnerable are the 4 seeds. These 4 seeds could drop down and be a 5. That's where I see the vulnerability there. Virginia, certainly. UConn's a 4. UConn has a chance to move up to a 3, though. They're the 4 that's going to move up to a 3 if it keeps up. Xavier's right now a 4. Xavier's been playing well. Indiana, I have my thoughts on them, and probably everybody's going to disagree with me when I put out my bracket, but I think they're really vulnerable. Pumped up by the media. It could get to them. Could very well get to them. Xavier Johnson was just announced that he won't be playing. He's out for the rest of the season. So right now, Indiana's a 4 in a Big Ten conference that's just teams beating up on teams that, I don't think any of those teams are outstanding out of the Big Ten. That's the thing. I watched that Michigan-Illinois game. That was rough. There were multiple chances for both teams to win, and they gave it away. Yeah, it is so wide open in the Big 12 tournament. I'm going to go with a little bit of a long shot here. I'm going to take Baylor for the Big 12 tournament. I know they're coming off a terrible loss today, but I feel like they're going to get on a run for Baylor. Keontae George, he was coming back hobbled for today's game. So if he gets his rest and Baylor's hitting their shots, I think Baylor's dangerous. I don't know what was up with that today, losing against Iowa State. But I think they're going to hit the reset button. For Iowa State, what they proved to me today, Iowa State could go to the Sweet 16. I feel like Iowa State's going to be that team once again that nobody has faith in. That last year they were an 11 seed. I think last year they lost a bunch of games before the tournament. And I had said in my bracket video, Iowa State, Ohio State, those were the two teams I was like, no way. Both of these teams are on massive losing streaks. Both of these teams have checked out. They're going nowhere. Ohio State beat Loyola Chicago in the first round. And then Iowa State went all the way to the Sweet 16, which nobody believed in them last year. They lost their number 3 score. They beat Baylor today on the road. Yeah, Kansas, this game is far from over. I projected Kansas in this game. They're only down by 8. This has just been like game after game after game this season for Kansas that they've come back and won. Texas playing for a lot more. Texas has been dropping games lately, though Kansas is playing to see if they can get the overall number 1 seed in the bracket. Yeah, I agree right there, Vegas. A lot of the teams from the Big Ten are beatable. I see, I'm just going to check Northwestern's seeding line for a second. Northwestern is a 6 seed. First of all, they got, according to Joe Lunardi today, they have West Virginia in the bracket. West Virginia's an 11 seed. I don't know if that's going to hold because West Virginia might move on up further, but I'm all in West Virginia right there. Like, Northwestern gets a 6 seed because they beat Purdue a couple weeks ago. They got pumped up in the bracket, and now they're starting to lose games. Yeah, I think Purdue's really vulnerable. Their backcourt's young. A lot of their guards are freshmen on Purdue. Like, that's what usually thrives in the tournament is guard play. That's concerning for Purdue, how, like, one player carries your team with Zach Edey. And the thing is if you get a team like Texas A&M, you're in deep trouble. Texas A&M, they drive and drive and drive on you. I believe they attempt the most twos out of any team in their conference. They go to the free throw line more than anybody in the nation for Texas A&M. If Purdue lands on the 2 seed line, Texas A&M a 7 seed, Texas A&M, they don't have the size, but they can put Edey in foul trouble. They get the physicality, too, on that team. I think Texas A&M, if they do land on the 7, Purdue drops to a 2. That would mean, like, UCLA would have to win against Arizona tonight. And who knows what happens in the Pac-12 tournament. If UCLA runs the table, though, they're a 1 seed. They got a good enough record to do so if they beat Arizona tonight. Yeah, I think Purdue is really vulnerable to losing first weekend for them. Yes, I plan on covering UNC against Duke later today. Yeah, so feel free to join in later tonight as well. I'll be back 6:30 p.m. covering Duke against UNC. West Virginia's a dark horse. They have a Hall of Fame head coach. I guess it's all about the matchups that they get. They're a sneaky 11 seed for West Virginia. The team that nobody's talking about that I think that can do some damage in the bracket as a play-in team would be Mississippi State. Mississippi State's got a top 10 defense. Just going to check to see how they're doing right now. If they're playing later today or when they're playing. They're playing at Vanderbilt later today. Mississippi State's 8-2 in the last 10 games. Nobody is talking about them. With a win against Texas A&M a week ago, 8-2 in the last 10 games. The 2 losses, a loss by 3 against Kentucky, a loss in overtime by 2 at Mizzou. These are the last couple losses from Mississippi State. At Missouri, February 21st, 66-64. Versus Kentucky at home, 71-68, February 15th. You have to go back to January 25th for their third loss, where they started conference play at 1-7. 1-7 at conference play. They have a chance to go 9-9 tonight with a win at Vandy, entering the SEC tournament. They lost at Alabama 66-63 on January 25th. Lost against Florida 61-59. Once we hit February, the switch is flipped for Mississippi State. This is a team that started off 11-0. They had a win against Marquette. They beat Marquette. They held Marquette to 55 points. 58-55, November 21st. This is a Mississippi State team that's lost a bunch of close games in January. They flipped the switch in February. Like low key, they're hiding under the radar where nobody sees. Like, nobody's talking about them. Their head coach is from New Mexico State, where he won a tournament game last year. They did that against UConn because of how powerful their defense was. Like that was a huge upset last year when Mississippi State, or when New Mexico State beat UConn in the first round. And I was shocked myself. I was like, there's no way Dan Hurley, he's going 0 for 2 in the tournament back-to-back years, coming off a loss against Maryland where James Bouknight got shut down. I don't think they go 0 for 3. That's certainly something. Based on how UConn's been playing, there's no way they go 0-3. UConn's probably going to get a 4 or a 3. I hope they get matched up with Yale. There's a good start for them in the bracket. Battle of Connecticut. UConn versus Yale first round. UConn, something that not a whole lot of people are talking about is if UConn gets put in Albany, they have that whole region to themselves, basically, to come out before they play at Madison Square. So, UConn in the Big East tournament, MSG, they get put in the bracket in Albany, and then they play at MSG once again in the regionals. Like, that's as easy as you can get for, like, a team going from Eastern Connecticut to Eastern New York to Southeastern New York for matchups. Not even 3 hours travel distance for those games you could potentially get if you're UConn. The schedule could pay out in your favor that much in the bracket. We get back to action. The second half begins. DeSue turn around into the key, puts it up. It's good for 2. Do I think Gonzaga will make it to the Elite 8? I will say no. Last year when they lost against Arkansas, I said no Sweet 16 or beyond for Gonzaga. They'd really have to have a favorable matchup to get there. The thing about Gonzaga is that once tournament time comes, it's physicality that takes over. And they're probably going to be a 3 seed. I'll have to check to see who the 6 seeds would be that could give them some danger in the bracket. Just their schedule just doesn't prepare them for like big conference basketball when it comes down to like physical style. 6 seeds currently: San Diego State, Duke, which is on the surge lately, Iowa State, Northwestern. 19 minutes left to go. 10-point lead, and Kansas called in the offensive foul. It's Timmy Allen who takes the charge. Jalen Wilson pushes off, and it will go right back over to Texas. Oral Roberts, definitely. If they have all the right matchups in place for Oral Roberts. Florida Atlantic is an interesting case. I I don't know who they'll get for a matchup. They got it tougher for their matchup. That's the thing, because they're probably either a 10 seed, I expect. I think they can win round 1, but it depends who they face. That's the thing. If they face Texas A&M, that's a tough matchup for Florida Atlantic. I'll take a look and see what Lunardi's got in his bracket. They keep on getting slotted into like a tough matchup, like Florida Atlantic versus Kentucky in the first rounds. At the right wing perimeter, it is Marcus Carr. Bounce pass over to Dessou. 18:40 left to go before in the second half. 10-point lead for Texas. And we have a whistle away from the basketball. Picked up by Kansas, reaching in. That's 2 quick personal fouls by Kansas. Grady Dick in the reaching call. Clock will stop with 18:34. Florida Atlantic's got Mizzou right now. Oh, this is how they make the Sweet 16. I think you can legit make a case for Florida Atlantic. They have Purdue, which has been slowing down a ton. So according to Lunardi, Florida Atlantic has Missouri, and then they have Purdue. So Florida Atlantic will be a 9 seed in his bracket, facing the 8 seed Missouri. And then if they win, they take on 1 seed Purdue. Texas floating up over the top behind the defense. Dylan Dessou gets the bucket plus the foul. He'll shoot 1 coming up at the free throw line. Florida Atlantic leads all of college basketball this year in bench points. By the way, Missouri losing a home game against Ole Miss. Six minutes left to go. The score is Ole Miss 67, Missouri 65. We'll keep you guys posted. Yeah, I believe they got like a 16-game winning streak because they pass. If you guys haven't kept up with the NBA standings for a little bit, they have passed the Celtics now in the standings. Texas gets the free throw 2 by Dessou. Largest lead today, 13-point lead. McCullough sends it over to Harris. Harris dribbles up to the baseline. Harris moves it back outside into the hands to Wilson. And Wilson jacks up the 3 straight away. Missed off the rim, and the rebound controlled by Texas. This Texas team came to play today on Senior Day. A lot of seniors on this team spin move downhill and stripped and fouled. 2 free throws coming up at the line for Texas as they are just the aggressor today in this matchup. Kevin McCullough picks up his 3rd personal foul, and Texas will shoot 2 at the free throw line with Tyrese Hunter. 25 plus watching. If you guys are new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. Later today, I'll be covering Duke against UNC, so feel free to join in for that stream as well. 2 free throws coming up by Texas. Hunter, first one, that's good, right down the middle. Second shot coming up by Hunter, and that's good as well. 39-24. Missouri needed come-from-behind wins in their last 2 games against Georgia. The score doesn't tell itself. They won by 22, but they were down in the first half against Georgia early on. And then Missouri won on the road. They came from behind at LSU, and they won 81-76 against an LSU team at the bottom of the conference. That conference not certainly playing help to Missouri to close out the season. At Georgia, at LSU versus Ole Miss, like bottom 3 teams at the bottom of the SEC. 15-point lead. Kansas in deep trouble. 17.5 left to go. Accelerates. Harris on the drive. Got knocked down. No call by the referees. Texas comes out with a defensive rebound. Pass midcourt. Dessou makes the pass out to the wing. 3. Missed off the mark. Looking for a putback. They will not count it, though. Basket interference by Texas by Dylan Mitchell. As the referees wave off the bucket, it will be Kansas ball. Jayhawks just looking for something. Lockdown defense all game long by Texas. 17 minutes left to go. Harris pass off the roll down. Zach Clements scores up and in off the glass. So they turn off the bench to number 21, Zach Clements, who gets the bucket. Pick and roll works out to the favor there for Clements. 17 minutes left to play. Texas with a possession. Mitchell at the top of the key. Guarded by Dick. Dribbles towards his left. Handoff to Allen. Allen guarded by Dick at the top. Allen dribbles down the hill. Lost it. Still dribbles through traffic. Loose ball. Scooped up into the hands to Jalen Wilson. Outlet pass over to McCullough. Ahead of the pack. McCullough draws the blocking foul. McCullough will shoot 2 coming up at the free throw line. 2 shots coming up now for the Jayhawks. Dylan Dessou with 3 personal fouls, so he'll have to check out of the game coming up. Oh boy, VCU tied up against GW. Yeah, VCU, everybody's got VCU to win the A10. Here we go, this is the funny thing. Dark horse team, in my opinion, to win the A10. I've got VCU myself, but if there's a team that can win the A10, dark horse for me, Fordham. Fordham. When have we heard that? Fordham's got a pretty good, darn good record this season. First shot missed to the free throw line by McCullough. Second free throw hits it. 12-point game. 16.5 left to play. Texas with the ball. Christian Bishop hands it off. Carr swings it over to Rice. Rice with a 3. Rice puts it through. Serge Jabari Rice, he's been massive. Clutch shot after clutch shot this season. He's got 12 points. A lot of the conference tournaments are March 8th through 11th for, like, the major conferences. Big 12, Big East. ACC starts on March 7th. Pac-12 is on the 8th. SEC is on the 8th. So those are, like, the major conferences, like Power 5 start on March the 8th. We've already got conference tournaments going on right now in the mid-majors. March 8th is on Wednesday. So Wednesday is when, like, the Big 12... ACC starts on Tuesday, I believe. But, yeah, Big 12 starts theirs on Wednesday. Kansas with a jumper. Able to connect on it. Timeout taken on the floor. 42-29. We reached the media timeout. 15:41 left to go in the second. Texas looking solid today. Feel free to join in later tonight. I'll be covering Duke against UNC. Major game for UNC. Win, and they move themselves closer to the bracket. I wouldn't say they're in for North Carolina, but if they win tonight against Duke, it gives them another quad one victory. If they lose, they are toast. It's going to be tough to get themselves in, especially with the bid Steelers. You don't know what could happen in March. You don't know. Villanova's hot right now. Villanova could take the Big East Tournament Championship. What would March Madness be without Villanova, as they're getting hot right now at the right time? Like, anything could happen with potential bid thieves, like, especially in the Pac-12. Arizona State, they were up early. They led 12-2 against UCLA on Thursday night. They blew it. They got crushed, lost by double digits against UCLA. It's a 3-bid conference right now. Arizona, UCLA, USC. If anybody else comes out of I feel like if there's any conference that there's a bid thief, it will be the Pac-12. Arizona State has a good chance to climb themselves back into the picture if they win the Pac-12 tournament. But what if a team like out of nowhere comes out of that conference? Washington State, Oregon State did it a couple of years ago. Out of the Pac-12. Utah. Like, Oregon. Maybe Oregon will show up for the conference tournament. You never know. They beat Arizona this year for Oregon. Beat them by double digits. That's definitely a team to keep an eye out. That just, they go mid-pack throughout the whole season. and then they just show up for the Pac-12 tournament and win. But I feel like out of any conference tournament, it could be the Pac-12 that's up for grabs, especially with like Arizona losing a couple like questionable games this year for them. They lost against Stanford, lost against Washington State, lost by double digits against Oregon. ACC too. If like there's usually been a random team that's come out of the ACC. I expect like the top teams, like somebody will come out of it in that conference. Miami, Duke's red hot. Yes, Providence should be in the tournament. Providence not looking so hot as of late, though. They really need to get themselves back in order. They're giving themselves a lot of problems. Like, for them, losing games is certainly not helping out their seeding. For them, they'll probably be an 8 or a 9 seed. And what the problem is that they'll probably face Alabama in the second round, and they'll get crushed against Alabama. That's a team that's one of the top rebounding teams in the nation. I feel like that's just a bad matchup for Providence because Alabama's got size on their team. And even like a team like Arizona, that's a really tough matchup if they draw like an Arizona in the first round, considering like the size of in the second round, because they'd have to get past whatever the seeding happens to be, 10, 9, or 8 for Providence. Texas made the free throw back to action, 43-29. Kansas with possession, 15 minutes left to go. Harris moves it out to the top of the key. Zach Clements takes a three, missed off the back rim. Bishop with a defensive rebound. Just hasn't been Kansas's game tonight, just stone cold from the floor. Still time remaining, but Kansas 3 of 15 shooting, only 31% from the floor tonight. 3 of 15 from 3. Carr makes the pass out to the wings. Serge Jabari Rice missed off the mark, goes out of bounds, and it'll be Kansas ball. This is just stunning, where the offense has just been nails on chalkboard for the Jayhawks here. Kevin McCullough pass midcourt into the hands to Harris. Harris, edge of the Longhorns logo. 15 on the shot clock. Harris dribbles out towards the right, dribbles downhill, shovels down low to Wilson. A Wilson clobber to Wilson gets fouled. So Jalen Wilson will head to the free throw line, shoot 2. Clock will stop with 14-18. Both of the free throws good at the line for Wilson. 12-point game, 14 minutes left to play. Bounce pass over to the elbow. Timmy Allen, pivot, puts up the shot. Allen draws the foul, and the clock will stop with 14:02. So it's been stop and start lately. Jalen Wilson picks up the personal foul. That'll be his second personal foul. Kevin McCullough's got 3. Everybody else with 1 after Wilson with 2. Inbound for Texas. Baseline drive, Rice, bounce pass down low, Bishop, missed the layup, got fouled once again. And Christian Bishop to shoot 2 coming up at the free throw line. So now personal will be charged to Zach Clements. What's good, Anthony? Welcome to the stream, man. 14 minutes left to play. Texas been out in full control this game. Their defense holding Kansas to just 30% shooting. Kansas has only made 11 field goals throughout the entire course of the game, just 3 for 15 from three-point range. First one bounces around the rim and it drops in. I think they do have a chance for Oregon, honestly. See, my thought is Arizona they've had games that they just haven't shown up this season for Arizona. UCLA's the team that they'd have to knock out for Oregon. Arizona has had blips. They've lost some bad games, one of them against Stanford this year. And Oregon beat Arizona, too. And Zach Clements takes the charge. Sir'Jabari Rice, Zach Clements picks up the offensive foul. Sir'Jabari Rice, the one who took the charge. It will be a turnover by Kansas back to Texas. Just hasn't been the Jayhawks game tonight. Texas's defense, gritty, tough. They have come to play with their physicality. Match our physicality. Kansas is just all out of sorts so far today. Timmy Allen backs his way on the Wilson. Allen backs his way inside a key. Allen, pivot, makes the pass out to the wing. Over to Carr. Carr, 8 on the shot clock at the right wing. Carr drives, dribbles up to the elbow. Carr floats with the shot. Tough one at the free throw circle. Missed off the back rim. Defensive rebound hauled in by Wilson. Wilson dribbles up to the elbow. Thinks about the step back. Shovels the pass over to McCullough. Turnaround, tough shot. And it rolls around the rim and out. Texas with the basketball back. 13 minutes left to go. Allen, crossover into the key, up fake. Working on KJ, moves it back outside. Texas going to hold on to the basketball. Longhorns take a three straight away. Sir'Jabari Rice missed off the front rim. And the rebound controlled by McCullough. Defense for Kansas kept them in the game. Offense nowhere to be found. Just 11 total field goals. 28% shooting. Harris blocked. Goes out of bounds. Sir'Jabari Rice with a huge rejection. We know that man's going to show up for the tournament. Number 10, quality minutes in white and orange tonight for Texas. Sir'Jabari Rice, absolute dog. 12 points off the bench. The top scorer comes up with his first block of the game. Sir'Jabari Rice, the key player that led New Mexico State to victory last year in the first round against UConn in the tournament. Wilson takes the three, rips it through. We'll see if this sparks something for KU. Jalen Wilson, 16 points. Almost double the team points tonight for Kansas. Texas with a possession. Rice drives baseline. Rice scores the layup with a left hand. What an answer. Texas with an answer back. Sir'Jabari Rice up to 14. Harris receives the pass. 12 minutes left to play. Harris, top of the key. Harris, still guarded at the top. 15 on the shot clock. Harris towards his left. Harris dribbles up to the low block. Swings it out cross court. Dick, up fake. Moves it out to the baseline. Harris drives. Goes for a reverse hand blocked. Gets the ball back. Shovels it down low. McCullough scores. Assist by Dewan Harris. Kevin McCullough gets the basket. 10-point game. McCullough up to 8 points and 5 rebounds. Grady Dick nowhere to be found tonight. 0 points and 0 for 2 shooting from the floor. Jalen Wilson with a double-double, 16 and 10 for Kansas. Texas with a ball. Sir'Jabari Rice, 14 points, the top scorer. Out to the top of the key, Arterio Morris. Morris guarded by Dick 101. 8 on the shot clock. Morris drives inside with the right hand. Missed off the back rim. Dick comes up with a defensive rebound. 11:15 left to go. McCullough looks to push it. McCullough, his pass knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Texas. McCullough not being aggressive. He should have just went downhill and scored in a layup. Instead, he makes an extra pass underneath the hoop in the key. Lucky that Texas knocked it out of bounds. Timeout taken on the floor as we take the media break here. 46-36 Longhorns leading by 10 over Kansas. We take the timeout on the floor. What's good, SG? Welcome to the stream here, man. Taking Kansas today in this game. Still time for Kansas to come back. They have to find their offense, though, as their offense today just nowhere to be found. 13 made field goals, 31% shooting, just 4 for 16 from 3, 60% at the free throw line. Texas, with their defense, been locking up KU throughout this game. Still, we got a lot of time left to go. 11-12 remaining. If anybody's interested in joining in the Behind Your Basketball Bracket Challenge group, feel free to do so. That link is pinned to the chat. All are welcome to join the Behind Your Basketball Bracket Challenge group. It is totally free, and you're available to do so. Limit 1 entry per person, and the link is there, posted in the chat. Yeah, it's been storybook this season for Kansas. So many second-half comebacks. I had predicted Kansas to win this one. So if Kansas does win this game, it really speaks volumes to Kansas. That Kansas is able to keep themselves in the game through their defense. That they're able to have a bad shooting game and still end up winning. Like, if they come from behind, man. They've done it so many times this season. Things going pretty well. One more stream tonight. I'll be covering UNC against Duke around 6:30. So about an hour from now, I'll be back covering UNC Duke. So feel free to join in for North Carolina Duke tonight. Jordan, welcome in. Unfortunately, I won't be covering Sixers Bucks tonight. I have just one other stream. It'll be Duke versus UNC. Bradley, welcome back in, man. And I posted a video about the Bracket Challenge group earlier today, so if you haven't checked out the video, feel free. It's just informing everybody about the Bracket Challenge or so. Texas hanging in there in the glass right now. 29-26, Kansas by 3. That's been the weakness this season for Texas. Texas got crushed in the glass a week ago against Baylor. Both teams stone cold from the perimeter in this game. Texas 4 of 15, Kansas 4 of 16. But the problems have lied for Kansas tonight. It's been the free throws, been the shooting efficiency definitely at just 31%. But yeah, personal fouls has been a bad sign. 15 total fouls by Kansas today. They're lucky because they're not a deep team that the fouls are split up. 3 personal fouls by Kevin McCullough, 3 by Zach Clements, 2 by Jalen Wilson, everybody else with 1 personal foul. There's 7 players with just 1 foul committed by Kansas. Yeah, no problem there, Bradley. Stay safe there, man. Yeah, we got an ice storm this morning. It actually wasn't as windy as it was forecasted. They said there was supposed to be like 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but it wasn't really that windy today. Kansas able to score off the inbound. It's an 8-point game. This is where KU thrives. The final 10 minutes of action. We're almost there. 10:50 left to go. Bounce pass down low. Texas responds. Big bucket inside the key. Dylan Dessou up and through for 2. Dessou's got 7 points. Jayhawks with the ball. McCullough slides it over to Dick. Dick up fake. Dribbles baseline. Back outside to the wing, Wilson. Wilson into the key, floats up the shot, missed off the right corner of the glass, rebounded by Dessou. Here goes Texas with a possession. Carr up the floor, Carr dribble drive down the lane, out to the wing it goes Dessou. Dessou takes the 3, off the back rim, no good. McCullough with a defensive board. 10:15 left to go. Kansas looking to respond, and Dessou deflects the pass out of bounds. Grady Dick, nothing on the scoreboard today. No points. 0 for 2 shooting, missing both from 3-point range. So the link is pinned to the chat. It's also in the description below this video. So if you can't find it pinned to the chat, it's also in the description below the video. Lob to KJ Adams. Adams from behind got fouled by Dessou. The clock will stop with 10:11. Also, Texas in the bonus as Kansas has committed too many fouls. Texas commits just their 4th personal foul of the second half. Kansas with 8. So Dylan Dessou will check out of the game now. Christian Bishop comes in. Adams got knocked down. No call by the referees. Kansas looking to inbound it, and they can't find anybody. And Kansas will have to burn a timeout. So nobody could get space out on the floor for the Jayhawks. 10-point lead for Texas will take the timeout. Yeah, must-win game tonight for North Carolina. Joe Lunardi has North Carolina in the first 4 out currently. Arizona State, UNC, Michigan, Utah State, first 4 out currently for teams. Next 4 out, Oklahoma State, Clemson, Charleston, Oregon. New Mexico lost last night. New Mexico's dropped off the map. Nowhere to be found anymore. Utah State's got a good record. They just don't have, signature wins. I believe they're top 30 in the net for Utah State. So if they miss the bracket, it will be the first team with the highest net ranking ever to miss the bracket. I'll double check on what their net ranking is for Utah State, but their record is 23-7. That's a killer. They lost against San Jose State. That's a killer there. Yeah, they've had games that just crush them. Whenever they played quality opponents, they just can't win. Lost against Boise State, Nevada, San Diego State twice. They beat Nevada once. They also beat Oral Roberts. They're holding on to that for Utah State. They beat Oral Roberts by 10. That's something they're holding on. They play against Boise State tonight. When you put yourself in the bracket hosting Boise State or closer to the bracket, I wouldn't say they're in the bracket, but for Boise State's in the bracket. They're sweating Selection Sunday if that happens. Utah State, you put yourselves closer to it if you win today. Oh, yeah, I can put it in the chat as well. There you go. So I just posted it in the chat there for USG. So if you don't see it pinned to the chat, I just posted it. Porter, welcome to the stream. Thanks so much for joining in. We get the Bracket Challenge group as well that we're going to do once again for March Madness, doing the ESPN Tournament Challenge group. I just put the link out in the chat if anybody's interested in joining for the Bracket Challenge. Brackets will be up on right after Selection Sunday, so next Sunday, March the 12th, around 6:30 p.m. Brackets will be up, and you can fill out a bracket anytime from next Sunday all the way before 12 p.m. on Thursday, March 16th is when brackets lock. So Thursday, March 16th is when brackets lock before the first round games. Utah State's number 21 in the net rankings. 0-4 in quad 1. That's the reason why they're not in the bracket. They're 0-4 in quad 1. I'll have to take a look at Boise State, see what their quad is. KJ Adams back from the timeout, scores up and through, good for 2, plus the fall by KJ. Shoot 1 coming up at the free throw line, 10:01 left to go. Yeah, that's a quad 1 win. So if Utah State wins against Boise State, the metrics love Boise State. Boise State's number 27 in the net. Utah State is 21 and nowhere to be found in the bracket. Free throw is good by Adams. Here comes the comeback potentially by Kansas. 10 minutes left to play. 7-point game. Texas with a possession. Hunter at the top of the key. Pass out to his right to Carr. Carr guarded by Harris 1-on-1. Carr bounce pass at the low block. Over to Bishop. Bishop powers his way inside the key and scores through for 2. Whenever Kansas gets a big bucket, Texas today just provides the answer. Right on back. 9.5 left to go. McCullough drives right baseline. Swings it out to the corner. Deflected out of bounds by Carr. 9:26 remaining. It will stay Kansas ball. Quick update, Missouri has won again, squeaking it out against Ole Miss. Final score 82-77. Missouri wins by 5 over Ole Miss. Indiana State Bradley. Missouri Valley Conference semifinals down to the final 6 seconds. Bradley just scored a go-ahead bucket, 71-70 with 6 seconds remaining. McCullough called on the turnover, 9:20 left to go. Vernon, welcome back on the stream. Thanks so much for joining in. Kevin McCullough called in the offensive foul. Texas took the charge, actually, last possession. So that Jabari Rice, just such a tough player. He was the one who took the charge, so it goes back to Texas. And McCullough's got 4. McCullough's got 4 personal fouls right now. And Texas finds his way to the free throw line. Marcus Carr, just 3 points tonight. Been doing it through the playmaking, though. 5 total assists. Misses the first free throw. Wow, Bradley Braves winning at the buzzer over Indiana State. Thanks so much for the update there, Ryan. That's Arch Madness at his finest. 71-70 I've got for the score. I get the Missouri Valley scores up here. I'll just double check. Free throws 1 for 2. That trip by Carr. Yup, it's gone final. Bradley, 1-point win over Indiana State, 71-70. Bradley, I believe they were the top team in the conference. Grady Dick with a 3. Finally on the board as he drills the 3 ball. Grady Dick, his first 3 points of the game, comes with 8:55 remaining. Texas with the ball. Carr dribbles up to the elbow, guarded by Harris. Back out to the right wing perimeter. Bounce pass over to Bishop. Bishop working on Adams one-on-one down inside the key. Bishop double teamed out to the wing. Up fake. Carr dribbles up. Jumper at the elbow. Swoosh. Marcus Carr provides the answer right back for Texas to take a 9-point lead. 8.5 left to go. Kansas with a possession. Harris at the top. Pick set by Wilson. Harris dribbles up to the elbow. Moves it out to the free throw circle. Back on top, it goes to Harris from the pass sent by Adams. Harris dribbles, drives, down the lane inside, off the glass, missed, tipped up in the rebound as there's a battle for it. Texas comes out of the pack with it. 2-on-1 on the fast break for the Longhorns. Shovel, downhill, up, and they'll draw the foul. 2 free throws coming up by Tyrese Hunter. 8 minutes left to play. Texas with a chance to go up by double digits once again. The Longhorns, they are hungry. They are gritty. And they are strong in this game with their defense, limiting Kansas to just 44 points with 8 minutes left to go. A tough Longhorns team, powered by Jabari Rice. So he led this team, or he led his team that he transferred from in the tournament last year at New Mexico State to a first-round win over UConn, leading his team today with 14 points, the top scorer for Texas off the bench. Timeout taken on the floor, 8 minutes even. Kansas in trouble tonight in this matchup as Texas's defense, it has come to play today. Feel free to join in for Duke against UNC later tonight. I'll be covering that matchup as well. We'll tip off, I believe it's around 6:30 p.m. That game will start. If you guys are new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe here. And if you guys are interested, feel free to join the Behind Your Basketball Bracket Challenge for the March Madness Tournament Challenge group once again. We're coming up close on Selection Sunday. Selection Sunday, 8 days away. So feel free to be a part of the Bracket Challenge group again. Scoreboard update. Not much going on, actually. Missouri winning over Ole Miss, 82-77. Oregon up over Stanford, 57-49. Oregon, still a lot of work to do to be into the bracket. They'd have to win the Pac-12 tournament, most likely. Too many losses on their resume. VCU, A-10 top team, leading George Washington 40-32. Virginia Tech destroying Florida State tonight, 79-52. But both of those teams away, well away from the bracket for this year. Nevada, that's an at-large team. You can't lose against UNLV. Still early. UNLV leads 23-19. Kansas held at just 34% shooting today. This Texas defense has been outstanding. Grady Dick, finally scored his first three-pointer of the night. It took him like 30 full minutes to finally make his first shot of the game for Grady Dick. 16 points, 10 rebounds by Jalen Wilson. After that, nobody else has been able to come out and provide an answer scoring in this game for Kansas. 8 points by Kevin McCullough, 7 by KJ Adams. 14 off the bench for Texas by Sir Jabari Rice. 11 points by Tyrese Hunter. It's just been a tough, hard-nosed, physical type of game today. And that's what Big 12 basketball is all about, the physicality. This has been impressive what Texas has done. 8 minutes away from closing it out on their senior day, if they can still pull out the W. Texas at the free throw line, 2 shots back from the timeout. First free throw is good. Tyrese Hunter makes the first one. Second shot, that's good as well. 11-point lead, 8 minutes remaining. A lot of the top teams in the Big 12 today lost their games. So we're under 8 minutes left to go now. Kansas with the ball, just 5 points off the bench. Dick at the wing, takes the three, makes it. Big time shot there by Grady Dick off the catch and fire. 6 points now for Dick, all in the past couple minutes. Went the first 30 minutes of the game scoreless. Texas with a possession at the right corner. Tyrese Hunter moves it out on top. Lob inside the key. Goes off to Bishop. Bishop swings it out right corner perimeter. Tyrese Hunter with a three. Missed off the back from McCullough with a defensive rebound. We'll see if Kansas is finally awoken here. 7:20 left to go. McCullough still out on the floor currently with 4 personal fouls. Lob over to Wilson. The Wilson gets double team. Wilson with a double-double today. Wilson down at the low block. Puts one up. Tough shot. Missed off the glass. Rebounded back by Texas by Sir Jabari Rice. 4 personal fouls by McCullough. 3 each by Jalen Wilson and Zach Clements today for Kansas. Rice turns the corner. Shovel down low. Bishop scores the bucket at the rim. Up and through. Good for 2. Texas up by 10 once again. Christian Bishop, 6 points, 3 rebounds. The player of this game so far today has been Sir Jabari Rice of Texas, 14 points, 6 rebounds. First assist of the night. 6.5 left to go. Kansas in trouble. Wilson, bounce pass into the hands to Harris. Moves it on top, off to McCullough. McCullough dribbles up to the elbow, takes the jumper. No good off the front rim, and the rebound controlled by Timmy Allen of Texas. Texas by 10, looking to push it up the floor. They'll draw the contact and the foul with Tyrese Hunter shooting 2 at the line. 6:19 left to play. 50 plus in the chat right now. If you guys are new in the stream, make sure to hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. I cover basketball action here on the channel, both play-by-play of college hoops, also NBA games. If you guys would like, feel free to be a part of the Behind the Arc Basketball Bracket Challenge group that we're doing once again this year. That link is posted in the chat, pinned to the chat. Feel free to join it if you guys would like. 2 free throws to the line for Texas. Texas in their season finale at home makes the first free throw. Just incredible defense tonight by the Longhorns. And you guys are welcome to join in for Duke versus UNC later today. Tip-off will be around 6:30. Second free throw is good. Tyrese Hunter makes them both. He's up to 15. Approaching the 6-minute mark left to go. Kansas in deep trouble, down by 12 once again. Harris at the edge of the midcourt logo. Harris guarded by Hunter 1-on-1. 6 minutes left. Makes the pass over to Adams. Adams swings it out left corner. Baseline drive. McCullough. His pass goes right behind KJ Adams. It's a turnover. Texas. A 3-on-2. Rice moves it out to the wing. 3 on his way. Grazed rim short. Missed by Carr. And the rebound pulled down the far side. Bishop had it but stepped out of bounds. It'll be Kansas basketball with 5:49 left to play. Spiking on the stream. Let's go. Hit us up in the chat who you guys are rooting for in this game today. Texas or Kansas. 59-47, 5:45 left to go. Kansas's offense just nowhere to be found. 34% shooting, only 33% from three as well. Harris, top of the free throw circle, makes the pass off to Yesufu. Yesufu at the right wing. Dribbles up to the elbow, swings it out to the corner. Dick with a three at the corner, missed off the mark, rattled around the rim and out. Rebound pulled down by Texas. Longhorns will slow it down. 5:20 left to play. With a win today, if Texas can close this out, they'll be the number 2 seed in the Big 12 tournament behind Kansas, the 1 seed. Texas has it at the mid-block. They swing it off to a cutter. Tyrese Hunter stripped. Tyrese Hunter fouled. Tyrese Hunter will shoot 2 at the free throw line. And Texas into the double bonus. Jacob, welcome in. Robin with a dono. Let's get that dono hype out on the stream for Robin. Really appreciate it. Robin, the legend on the channel. Texas came to play locked down in the season finale. Sir Jabari Rice, what a key pickup in the transfer portal. 14 points off the bench. Won a tournament game last year at New Mexico State. The kid is a stud. Lockdown defender. First free throw good at the line for Texas. Hey, thanks so much, Mario. Really appreciate it, man. Robert, welcome in. I heard about that with a job post this morning. Second free throw is good. Tyrese Hunter having a solid game today for him as well. Tyrese Hunter moving up to 17 points, the top scorer for Texas. 14 by Sir Jabari Rice. 5 minutes left to play. Kansas down by 14, taking a three. Jalen Wilson drills it. Just a lone guy to show up tonight for Kansas. 19 points for Jalen Wilson with 10 rebounds. After that, everybody else with single digits. Number 2 scorer, Kevin McCullough with 8. 26th career double-double at KU for Jalen Wilson. 18-footer rattles in. What a shot by Texas, able to get the bounce. It rattles in, up by 13. Sir Jabari Rice, 7 points in the second half. 16 points he's got from the bench. Here goes Wilson. Attacks inside the paint. Wilson able to score with a layup. Mario to the membership. Let's get that member hype from Mario. Really appreciate it, man. You the legend, brother. Corner 3, Rice. Rice rips it through. He drills the 3. Sir Jabari, what a game from him for the Longhorns. 4 minutes left to go. Statement game tonight for Texas to close out the regular season. Missed off the back rim by Wilson. Defensive rebound hauled in by Bishop. Here goes Texas up by 14, looking to add to it. Top of the key, it goes to Carr. Carr around the midcourt logo, slows it down. Bounce pass over to Bishop. Bishop around the perimeter, handoff Carr. Carr turns the corner, drives inside the key, moves it back outside to Rice. 10 on the shot clock for Sir Jabari. Sir Jabari looking for more. Turn around, tough shot, Sir Jabari Rice. Oh, baby, tough one over Grady Dick, and he scores at the baseline off the turnaround. 68-52. You can put this one in the wrap with Sir Jabari Rice. 21 points off the bench, giving Texas a big spark. 15-footer KJ Adams connects. Watch out for number 10. In white and orange, what a game he has had. Hunter gets the pass away off the Bishop. Bishop, oh, clear pathway. He missed the dunk, though. Christian Bishop looking to throw down a windmill dunk, and he lost it out of his hands. Wide open, out in the clear. Nobody for Kansas was on him, as the clock will stop with 2:52 left to go, as we will take a media timeout on the floor. 68-54. Texas showing up to play in this game today. Sir Jabari Rice, 21 points, 17 by Tyrese Hunter. And the backcourt on fire for the Longhorns. Marcus Carr with just 6 points, only 2 for 9 shooting, but his 2 teammates in the backcourt bailed him out and really picked it up today. Warren, thanks so much for the dono, man. Let's get that dono hype for Warren here. You guys, the legends in the channel. 70 plus watching. If you're new in the stream, hit the thumbs up, spike the like, hit the subscribe. I cover play-by-play of basketball action on the channel, college hoops, NBA games. Also, feel free to join in for Duke versus UNC later today. I'll be covering that one as well. We're going to tip off around 6:30. I think the stream had said 6 for the time because it had scheduled it for 6, but the tip-off isn't until 6:30. So if you know anybody that's waiting for my stream, UNC versus Duke, it's going to be a while because I do have to change over to scoreboard graphics for that stream too. Really, really impressive game today for Texas. Jacob, thanks so much for joining in. Tim, welcome in. Longhorns with their defense just locked down, holding Kansas to just 36% shooting. Sir Jabari Rice is an absolute stud. Great transfer pickup they got. If you guys would like to join in the Behind the Arc Basketball Bracket Challenge group, feel free to do so. That link is pinned to the chat. I'll post the link once again. All are welcome to join in the Behind the Arc Basketball Bracket Challenge group for March Madness. Limited to 1 bracket per person. Brackets will come out on Selection Sunday, next Sunday, March the 12th, around 6:30 p.m. after Selection Sunday. Brackets will lock around noontime on Thursday, March 16th, right before the first round matchups. If you guys would like to come on back for Duke versus UNC, feel free to do so as well. Kansas just stone cold in this game today. Just been a one-man show with Jalen Wilson. That's it. Give the credit out to Texas. This Texas defense is locked down, and they are just connected together on the floor. This game, I feel like for Kansas, they're still playing for the overall number 1 seed, but they've already wrapped up the Big 12 number 1 seed for them. Just the overall number 1, that's the thing. But for Texas had been on a losing skid for a little bit, so this game means a ton for Texas. Their senior day, they've been dropping games lately. They played well in the first half against Baylor, and then they just, last Saturday, Baylor they got up by 14 against Baylor, and then Baylor came back and they crushed them. And Texas today just playing physical, playing with the energy, and keeping up on the glass has been a big key. This Texas' last couple losses, they got pounded on the glass. Mike, Brian, Ty, welcome back in, guys. Coop 2 on the stream, welcome on board. Dylan Dessou with a big putback just a moment ago. We got 2 minutes left to go. Dessou throwing it down with a right-handed putback jam. Two minutes left to play. Kansas now in the bonus at the free throw line. 1-1 by Jalen Wilson. First one is good. Jalen Wilson, the lone player to show up in this game. He's got 22, 10 rebounds. After that, just 8 points by Ken McCullough, and everybody else below McCullough in the scoring. So he's only the double-digit player. 23 now by Wilson, makes both of the free throws. 2 minutes left to play. Texas gets the inbound all the way in their backcourt. Marcus Carr double team. Kansas providing the pressure. Pass sails down the near side over to Timmy Allen. Texas will slow it down, hold the basketball. Minute 50 left to go. Longhorns get double teamed again. They get it away. Rice, 2-on-1. Rice, right to the rim. He's been the player of the game. Kansas trying to gamble the 2-on-1, looking to force the turnover. Texas able to break it. Great job off the full court pressure. Sir Jabari Rice, 23 points tonight, leading the Longhorns in this matchup. 1:30 left to go. Kansas down by 14. 3-point shot off the back rim, missed by Yesufu. Texas with a defensive rebound. From start to finish, this has been quite the game today for Texas. What a way to close it out on your home floor here in Austin in the regular season finale. Everybody up on his feet for the Horns. Here goes Texas. Drive, kick, corner, three. It's good. What a way to close it out. Rips it through the transfer portal, doing this team a big favor in the offseason. From the Big 12, Tyrese Hunter came over from Iowa State, made it to the Sweet 16 last year. They got transfers who have tournament experience. Sir Jabari Rice with an assist. Made it to the round of 32 in New Mexico State last season. Timeout taken on the floor by Bill Self with 57 seconds left. 75-58, Texas making their shots late, pulling away. Kansas has been just such a great team this season in the second half. They're shooting just nowhere to be found today. And this is just a little bit of a precursor that what a tournament we could have upcoming. Man. Yeah, that's huge for Missouri. Able to clinch a double bye in the SEC tournament. That's massive for you guys. And some of the top seeds are extremely vulnerable. Poor Tennessee with their injuries right now. That's going to be difficult for Tennessee. Auburn, who's battling for their tournament lives, I believe it should be enough with that win over Tennessee today for Auburn, but they hadn't been playing that well late stretch of the season. Texas A&M and Kentucky, those two teams have been playing extremely well lately. Mississippi State's been flying under the radar. Talked about them earlier, how they started off 1-7 and now they're 8-9 currently. 40 seconds left to play. Texas with the basketball as the Longhorns will take it up the floor. Feel free to join in for UNC versus Duke in less than 25 minutes. I'll be back live for the greatest rivalry in all college hoops coming up between UNC versus Duke. If you guys would like to join in, feel free to join the Behind Your Basketball Bracket Challenge group as well if you like. Once again, I'll post that link in the chat if anybody's interested. Down to the final 15 seconds. Missed three by Texas. Kansas with the ball. MJ Rice makes the pass from behind. We get a foul with 8 seconds on the floor. Kansas will shoot free throws with Zuby Ejiofor. Yeah, Oregon most likely will have to win the Pac-12 tournament title to get to March Madness. But if there's a team that shows up in March, historically, Oregon has done that before. Like, come out of nowhere and won the Pac-12 tournament. That's where I feel like that's where the most, like, vulnerability could come in for, like, out of, like, all the conferences, a bid stealer could come in from the Pac-12. Unless Villanova wins the Big East tournament. It's much more challenging, though, when you got teams like Marquette and Xavier, Creighton up in that conference. Whereas Arizona, I was talking about it earlier, Arizona has been vulnerable to losing bad games this year. Losing against Stanford, Washington State. They lost against Oregon early in conference play. As this game has gone to finals, 75-59, Texas pulls out the victory over Kansas. Texas, the number 2 seed entering the Big 12 Conference Tournament. Kansas will be the 1 seed. Big win for the Longhorns as they close it out on their home floor and make a statement on Senior Day in their regular season finale today. UCLA, Arizona, they're playing each other later today. That's the late game at 10 o'clock. But Arizona, yeah, I talked about how they've had some flashes of bad losses this year. And if for some reason UCLA doesn't win the Pac-12 tournaments, USC is the third team in the bracket. That's it. They have just three teams. They have just 3 teams that's in the bracket. Arizona State will have to fight its way in, and Oregon will have to win the tournament outright in order to do so itself. So we wrap up here, 75-59, the final score. Feel free to join in for Duke versus UNC. So we'll start that one off in a little bit. We'll be back in about 20 minutes from now. Duke against UNC. Feel free to join in for that stream. I'm going to close out to the channel members. We got Jason, Rajip, Russell, Oreo Pudding, Bradley, Braden, Mario, Bino, Mark, John, Kenneth, Jess, Ahino, Josa, Vegas, HD Sports Talk, Michael Warren, I Am Ghost, Kelly, Asia, Laszlo, Roderick, Reynaldo, Didi, Katie, Barco, Siegel, Woo Pig, Ian, Oink Oink, Emmanuel, and Robin. Thanks so much all for joining in, being a part here on the stream. Feel free to join in for Duke versus UNC in about 20 minutes. We'll be back for that one. Texas, big win on their home floor, 75-59 over Kansas. Thanks so much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.